Monday. Heard a lot lately about what's going on with EVs. The Chinese are coming, And everyone is saying that the landscape is changing. EVs are the future. The Chinese are coming. Well, maybe not everyone. There's a lot of people that really don't like EVs, let's be honest. The Chinese are coming. What is coming? What kind of vehicles are likely to be coming out of China? There's a couple of obvious choices. There are some Teslas and I think Volvos made in China that had been shipped into Canada before the trade impasse that we had there a couple of years ago. The Chinese are coming. But other than those, that's not really what people mean when they say the Chinese EVs are coming. What they really mean is that there's Chinese-made, Chinese manufacturers that are going to be shipping EVs into Canada. What are they? Like, there's 100 and some manufacturers in China of EVs, all kinds of models to choose from. So the best model I could come up with was to look around the world at places that already were importing Chinese vehicles, and I thought that Australia would be a good model. So I looked into the Australia market and found that there were like a top 10 list, and of course Tesla's on there, but surprisingly enough, the top 3 EVs are not Teslas. There's no Model 3s, there's no Model Ys. You don't get those until like 4th or 5th place or something. So I thought what I'd do is I just unpack maybe the top 3 EVs that are selling in Australia and have a look at what they are, what features they have, what price they're being introduced at. And I guess I was surprised. Not exactly what I thought, but there are some lessons there. We're going to pop into the studio. I want you guys to stick with me, and then you guys are going to come back here and join me at the end, and I'm going to tell you what I think some of the hot prospects are for the future of Chinese EVs in Canada. Number 3 on our list, the Zeeker ZX7. Zeeker is a sub-brand of Geely, sort of the same way that Chevrolet is a sub-brand of General Motors in North America. The Zeeker is a fairly high-end vehicle. It has a 103 kilowatt-hour battery and a 900-volt architecture. Now that should mean that it should be a very fast-charging vehicle, and the claims online seem to prove that out. I've seen claims of anywhere between 10 and 13 minutes in order to charge from 10 to 80%. It fast charges at up to 455 kilowatts and produces 784 horsepower. It's available in all-wheel drive configuration with a range of up to 715 kilometers and can get from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 2.9 seconds. The Zeeker ZX7 is available in Australia for 63,900 Australian dollars, which converts to 61,400 Canadian dollars. I'm just like you guys. I watch YouTube. I got a lot of creators that I really like and I appreciate and keep going back to. But very rarely do I look down and hit the subscribe button. It's not until I become my own creator, doing this show, that I learn to appreciate what that's worth. It really does mean something. So if you like the channel, you want to support me, want to keep learning about what's going on in the Canadian economy with EVs, look down, hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. Number 2 on the best-selling list for January in Australia comes from BYD. The Atto 2 Comfort has a 64.8 kilowatt-hour battery resting on a 400-volt architecture. That gives it a 26-minute 10 to 80% charge time. It fast charges at 155 kilowatts and produces 174 horsepower in a front-wheel drive configuration. That 64 kilowatt-hour battery will give it a 401 kilometer range. The Atto 2 Comfort is available for 31,990 Australian dollars, which would put it in the $30,700 Canadian price range. And at number 1, the top selling EV in Australia again comes from BYD. It's the Sealion 7. The Sealion 7 rests on an 800 volt, 71.8 kilowatt hour battery, which gives it a pretty good range of 520 kilometers. Its maximum charge is 230 kilowatts, and it produces 308 horsepower in a rear-wheel drive configuration. The charging time from 10 to 80 is a respectable 32 minutes, and it can get from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 6.7. The Sealion 7 is available for 54,900 Australian dollars, which, given conversion, would put it at about 52,800 Canadian dollars. Now we're seeing a range of vehicles here that quite honestly was not exactly what I was expecting or perhaps led to believe. The impression that I got was that we were going to be seeing a lot of ultra low cost Chinese vehicles. Now that's not to say that there aren't other cheaper vehicles coming out of China in the near future. BYD's Atto 1 is a vehicle that is hotly anticipated and is going to be available in the low $20,000 range. So should Canadian EV buyers be excited by this crop of EVs about to hit our shores? Well, I think the most interesting vehicle here is actually the Zeeker. The Zeeker has an exceptionally large battery and an exceptionally long range. And that large battery actually suits Canadian environment, maybe a little more than the batteries in the 60 to 65 kilowatt hour range. With that kind of large battery at your disposal, you've got the power to make long distances, the kind of longer distances that are probably more common in Canada, as well as a battery that's large enough to make it through a cold Canadian winter, where cold temperature affects battery performance. The 800 volt battery gives you faster charging times. It's indicative of the fact that it's a generation ahead of some of the 400 volt cars that are probably a little more common on Canadian roads. The Sealion 7 probably hits the sweet spot for the Australian market, as it could in Canada as well. With an 800 volt architecture, it's primed for quick charging, and a 520 kilometer range gives it top of market performance in that segment. The MSRP is not considerably lower than equivalent North American built EVs, but with aggressive discounting, like we've seen in the Australian market, the Sealion could find itself a welcome home in Canada. The impression I received from the media was that Canada was going to be getting a lot of really low cost EVs. And excepting for the Atto 2, the Zeeker and the Sealion are priced comparable to North American EVs right now. Now that's not to say that there's not other configurations and other vehicles available coming out of China, but you have to remember that they have to meet Canadian regulations in order to be imported into the country. So that severely restricts the importation of a lot of the other vehicles that are currently produced in China. These three models are currently export models that are making their way to Australian shores and could conceivably be turned around and shipped to Canada fairly easily. Now, I can't guarantee that these three cars specifically are going to make it to Canada, but they are the top three vehicles that are being exported from China to the Australian market. So that's indicative of what we may see here in Canada. It wouldn't surprise me to see all three of these vehicles available on Canadian shores in the next 6 to 12 months. Now, it has to be said that although these are MSRP prices, you are finding several of these vehicles being discounted in the Australian market. Particularly the Sealion 7, it's really been pushed heavily with aggressive discounting and buyer incentives, up to $10,000 off the MSRP. If you haven't seen it yet, my previous episode looked at the cars in Canada that are going to be eligible for the rebate. A lot of people watching it, getting a lot of good comments. Go back, have a look at it. Now, what we're seeing in the Chinese home market is actually the next level of EV technology. It's not being exported outside of China at this point, but within the next 12 months, you're going to see some other very interesting models coming off Chinese shores. This next generation is going to feature larger, faster charging batteries with exceptionally long range, in excess of 1,000 kilometers, and very short charging times, well below 15 minutes for a 10 to 80% charge. And it's here where the Chinese manufacturers could really display a bit of a leg up on the North American market. Domestic manufacturers are going to have to pedal hard in order to keep up with what's coming out of China in the next 12 months. So the Chinese are coming, and it's at a pivotal point in the development of the electric vehicle in North America. So we're in for a pretty interesting time over the next 12 months as we start to see the next generation of Chinese EVs with faster charging and longer ranges coming to our shores. And there we have it. The Chinese are coming. And these are credible vehicles, but they probably won't upset the Canadian market based on their current state of technology. If you've got any opinions on what you'd like to see or models coming out of China that you think might make it to our shores, leave a comment down below. I'd like to get your opinion on the Chinese rollout in Canada. Time for a postscript. I think what we're probably going to get for the Canadian market is some vehicles that are going to be easy to certify. We've got a luxury car and a couple of BYDs, mid to low segment, that inhabit the top 3 spots in the Australian market. They're not remarkable. They're not exactly what I would have thought or I think of when I think Chinese EVs. They're much more in line with what is currently being sold in the North American market. That's not to say that there's other vehicles in the pipeline that are potentially coming into Canada. So going through what the prospects are, in fact, I'm looking at one vehicle, the BYD Atto 1. So we've had the Atto 3 on this list, but they've got a new Atto 1, and it's looking like it's going to hit the Australian market this year in the vicinity of $25,000-ish, which is going to put that at around $20,000 Canadian. I think the second wave of Chinese imports is probably what's going to set the tone for the marketplace. That may give North American manufacturers a bit of breathing room in the short term. But what we've got here in China are battery makers that have turned into car manufacturers, versus what we have in North America are car manufacturers that are trying to learn batteries and software. So I'm looking forward to it. I think the introduction of this competition to the market is probably going to be good overall, and hoping that the North American manufacturers can overcome some of the short-term problems that they've had adapting to the new technology and create a vibrant, competitive marketplace for electric vehicles.